Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Shaman Durek, and I am really, really, really happy to be able to be here for all of you. You know, this is a very momentous time for us in our evolution, and we have to really be able to step into a structure that supports us being able to navigate ourselves through everything that's happening right now. And that structure can't be the old structure or the old paradigm. We literally have to start to think in a different way and operate in a different way if we are going to thrive on this planet going forward. You know, and so if we begin to look at some of the major aspects of humanity that need to shift, and that consumption, that idea of constantly feeling that we need to buy things and do things in order to feel better about ourselves has to be one of the things we let go of, because truly tiptoeing around your queen and king's chair is really no longer necessary. You know, the idea of, I hear a lot of times people will say to me, I'm going to be powerful in the future, or, I'm working on my power. I'm working on believing in myself. I'm working on making changes in my life. I'm working. And I think that the narrative of working is keeping us in slave mentality. The consciousness of evolution cannot be something that's far away from us. It has to be accepted and claimed in the here and now. And that means why? Because in the here and now, everything that goes to the past then creates your next experience of what you'll be experiencing going forward, right? And so when we claim it now, instead of us saying, I'm working on it, I love how amazing it's been to be in my power and how to be able to bring that love to the people in the most efficient and loving way, to support, to nurture, and to care for society and all of the people and so forth. And so when we speak from a place of it, claiming it, owning it now, we don't have to be such codependent beings where we always feel like in order for us to be amused or entertained, that we have to generate some emotion by having something coming at us, versus us being a self-regenerating, self-generating human being. And that's where true sustainability comes from. True sustainability can only be found when we begin to take back our power where it can never really be given, and put that power back with our words and the way in which we operate in our lives. And so when we do that, we begin to create a viewpoint of ourselves that allows us to see beyond the linear form. Because see, in this world, when we understand logic, right, this is not a logical world. You don't live in a logical world. If it was a logical world, we would have a lot of the things that you see today not even existing, such as we would have interfaced with nature and animals in the earth in a different way, then take a superior role, or this role where we have a right to dominion over all things, and everything else is to bow down to us. And so that means we can degrade it, we can destroy it, we can do anything we want to it, we can manipulate it without thinking of the cause and effects reality of not just this planetary kingdom, but how we're affecting each other in this whole entire global sphere. So when we recognize that, we can really begin to move out of that idea of you versus me and us versus them, and really start to see that the consciousness is not asking us to separate. The consciousness is asking us to get back into the seat where we belong and get back into that space of autonomy so that we can be greater servants. I always say that the greatest gift from God is not how much money you make or what car you drive or how big your house is or how many people you know. The greatest gift from God is to be of service, right? And so when you begin to step into that paradigm, then you begin to recognize how we can actually create shift on the planet for everyone. And right now, this is the perfect time to really think about, how are you showing up? Are you showing up tiptoeing around your life, waiting for someone to hand you something, begging creation, begging people, begging life? Or do you live life by saying everything is horrible and blaming everyone for everything that's going on? Do you live life by acknowledging yourself, or do you live life by looking at what other people are doing and then feeling bad about yourself? You see, all of these very dualistic polarity exchanges that we've been building on planet Earth are now becoming obsolete in the process of evolution. We've used polarities and we've used duality and we use quantum entanglement in such a way that we base everything off of, from the time that we were kids in school, which was what other people are doing and what can I do? And this person has a car, this person has a house, so I want to strive to have that, without really checking in and asking yourself, are those things really going to make you happy? Are they going to bring you joy? Are they going to bring you a feeling of well-being? Are they going to bring you sustenance? Are they going to bring you things that make you feel alive? And are they going to make you wake up every day with a smile on your face, knowing you're living your best life because you have those things? And I guarantee you, anything material is not going to bring you long-term satisfaction. Because again, we live in a temporal world. That means that everything will perish at some time or another. That's material, or be passed down or given to someone else when we no longer need it, because we're raised with the consciousness and the idea that we can't be satisfied unless we have a lot. And that's because we have a lot of insecurity to still process. And that's okay. That's okay. But what we have to understand is that in the process of going through all those different insecurities that we've built up because of the way the system has made us very codependent, we have to be gentle, we have to be nurturing, we have to be loving to ourselves and everyone around us. Even when people make mistakes, we have to take a softer hand, take a softer heart to these things and realize that this is not the planet of perfection, this is the planet of refinement. And through refinement, we find what works in harmony with all beings, with the planet, with the animals, with everything, and actually what is not supporting our species, our evolution, the planet and the animals and everything. And so as we step into this what I call full spectrum awakening, we then begin to recognize that that the level of discord that we see on the planet is literally a reflection of the things that we have not brought love into, because we've been too busy analyzing the things that we don't really need to analyze, right? So when we think about logic, it's not about logic, because this is not a logical world, because a logical world would never, use oil and gasoline to create a way for transportation that would destroy our environment. We wouldn't dump poisons in the water and poison our food and poison ourselves and then say it's okay because we're having fun at the bar with our friends. We wouldn't degrade life at all. And that would be, I would say, the sounding board for evolution, to not degrade life at all, right? And that means both personally and also collectively. And so when we begin to realize that everything that's taking place right now is to teach us, to refine us, not through wanting to make your life miserable, because that's not what this is about. This is about you being able to recognize how powerful you are, and how resilient you are, and how you can move through any obstacle with ease and grace because you've done it so many times before. And all the time that when you were a child to where you are now, every pain, every hurt, and every struggle and every obstacle has given you wisdom and understanding. So all of those pains and all of those struggles have become your chariot that is going to bring you through this difficult time right now. But again, if we look at it as this horrible thing and we're reacting and we're like going into all these things, now, I'm not saying for you to go out in the street and have a big street, block party. But what I am saying is to be mindful of what you need, but also take this time for your development, such as learn a new language, you know, perhaps do something you've never done before, like cook or do art or dance, you know, get on the computer, put on a tango course. Have you ever learned the tango? There's teachers that will teach you online. Take some healing courses online. Learn how to do acting or whatever it is that makes you happy. I'm not here to tell you exactly what that is, and I'm sure you already know. And if you don't, I encourage you and I implore you to explore places that you never thought you would even step into. You know, the greatest thing that I've learned as a shaman in life is that we can't be so firm and so rigid and so tight with life. We have to be fluid and flexible and mutable so that we are able to handle what comes our way and to be able to make changes, and so that we can shift our perspective from one perspective into something completely different, so we get a different viewpoint and a different angle and how we choose to look at something. And that will make us less reactive, less aggressive, because aggression and reaction comes from fear. That means that it will eliminate fear as a first choice response to you being able to step into a space of awareness, being calm, sinking in, observing versus analyzing, to be able to gain true perspective, right? And true perspective is really necessary in any survival situations. You know, when I lived in Israel, in both Israel and Turkey, I was in Israel at a time when there was a war, and everyone was always telling me, oh, they blow up that bus that you get on, and there might be a bomb here, and there might be a bomb here. And this is in a time in the 90s where bombs were like pretty normal in Israel at the time when I was there. And, you know, a lot of my friends in America were like, why are you going to Israel? You know, aren't you afraid if you get on a bus and a bomber comes on, it's over for you? And I said, no, I'm not, because I'm not going to go into that space and elect that as a truth to my story, to who I am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring awareness with me, which is my best friend. I'm going to bring, you know, awareness and observation, because they work hand in hand. I'm going to bring discernment with me to be able to make decisions based upon what is in my highest good, meaning I'm going to discern things and see them very clearly. I'm going to bring peace with me to keep me grounded and in my body. And I'm also going to bring with me wisdom, which is going to give me the knowledge that I need when I need it. And you know what? I was fine. And the same thing happened when I went to Turkey, when they had the big earthquake. And after I arrived, you know, people were telling me, oh my God, you know, people jump out of the windows, the earthquake, you might wake up and the ceiling might fall on you. And I said, okay, I hear where you're coming from. But again, what you say to me is your own fears projected. And when someone would tell me that, I know that that was them having fears and hoping that either one, I would not accept the fear, or I would accept the fear to go along with their fear and story to make it right for them. So when people have fear, they love to share things. When people have negative news, they love to share it, because they are engaged in information and intelligence that is not supporting them. Now, it's one thing to speak about things that we should be mindful of, that we should take introspect in our lives and how we're dealing with things, and be very, you know, I would say more clarity on matters, and to have conversations that would bring about that, but also from a place of empowerment, in words that describe victory, in words that describe cooperation, communication, for the benefit of thriving. Right? Not just surviving, but thriving, and really step into what I would like to say is, you know, the point where you sit in the eye of the storm and you watch the chaos spinning around you, because that chaos is an accumulation of what we call distorted frequency brought on by imbalanced thinking, or should I say malfunction in thinking. And malfunction in thinking is always devoid of common sense, because the understanding of reaction and fear comes from lack of information. So when someone doesn't have information and they react to it, instead of say, let me get more information to calm down this fear, they go and start sharing it with other people. Because again, like I said, people love to talk about their most horrible stories, and they don't talk about their triumphs enough, or their victories, or the things they overcame and how powerful they are. They love to talk about the negative. You turn the news on, negative, 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 negative. You go to a party, you hang out with friends, they're telling you their whole down and sad and horrible stories, and they're using that as bonding material. Okay? And that's how we've been purposed on earth, is to operate in this idea that if I can share suffering with you, if I can share pain with you, and you relate to my pain, then there's a reason for me to open myself up and trust you, or to love you, or to feel that we have something in common, instead of speaking about our victorious moments in life. And our victorious moments in life are so important, because those are the precursors that prepare us to be able to be flexible, mutable, pliable, and able to shift and be fluid in any situation, especially the one we're dealing with right now with the coronavirus. There is a junction point within humanity where you have to make a decision where you choose to place yourself in your consciousness and realize that every consciousness has a reflection or a frequency that connects with other people who believe or accept within the same. So if I go into fear, then I'm not just connecting with fear as in my own autonomy. I'm connecting with fear as an agitated state of awareness that has its peaks going higher and higher depending on how many more people are going into fear. I connect with each and every one of those people and simultaneously begin to share that energetic field into my energetic field, thus affecting my immune system, my central nervous system, affecting my organs, my muscular system, my cardiovascular system, because the body begins to feel those frequencies, and those frequencies are heavy. And when those frequencies get into the body, it creates inflammation. And if you know that a long term of inflammation can cause to a lot of health problems. And also when you're going into that fear, some people may overreact into that fear, and their mind may also become distorted. They're not thinking straight. You ever heard the saying when people say that person's not thinking straight? What they mean is that their mind is being overcome by emotional charges, like a tidal wave or a tsunami hitting them in their mental self from their emotions, that the mind is wanting to fix it, and it can't fix all of it because it's such a magnitude. So it just goes into all these different places. And that is when people get into hysteria. That's when people get into paranoia. That is when people get into, ideas of suicide or shutting down, and people become more distant from what's really happening to themselves. A lot of times people will even go into shock because that level of mental stimulation coming from fear, aggressive state from the emotions can lead to shock, and a lot of people have to understand why you have all these amazing people on the planet who are offering meditation and yoga online, breath, work. One of my friends, Wim Hof, you can check his programs out. There's like soma breathing. There's all these different types of techniques to be able to lower you from that red line of distress. Because we should never go into distress. When we go into distress, we begin to operate against our own well-being and our better understanding. Now, I'm not going to say better judgment, because judgment means we're analyzing something with information that we already have against something that we know nothing of. So to analyze anything is not the path. To be able to observe and understand from a deeper place of common sense for your well-being and to take into account the people around you, and why everyone is saying, stay home. It's not just stay home because we want you to be in fear. It's stay home because you're also a part of a collective, and you're part of protecting all of us, not just the one, right? Because we're out of the age of you versus me and us versus them. And we have stepped into this age of the we. And we can't deny it, because all of this is happening on a global level. It's not a coincidence. Do you understand? The thing is that everyone right now on this planet needs a reset. The way things have been, how do I say, when we think of post-traumatic stress disorder that one may be diagnosed with after coming back from a war or some traumatic experience, we have to understand that also exists in the spiritual realm. Your spiritual body has been in post-traumatic stress disorder for a very long time. And that does not make for our species, the planet, the animals, and our resources to be able to be in harmony so that we can sustain. Now, I'm going to talk about the sustaining qualities of humanity versus the way we've been operating. You see, in the understanding of how we've been operating in this kind of lack and limitation and really slave mentality, which is to, if we work and work and work and work and work, and I'm going to use that word because it is a very much of a slave word instead of loving service, we work, make money so the system can take money. So it's like, it's kind of like if you would visualize it with me as you see yourself on a wheel and you want this thing that's dangling in front of you, and you finally get it after so many turns of that wheel, and then you only get bits and pieces of it, and then they pull it away from you, and then you have to turn the wheel even more to get it to come back. And that has been the cycle we've been under. And that doesn't make for evolution, because remember, a species cannot evolve if the species continues to stay safe in whatever comfort zone it created for itself based on its perception and its created reality. Now, I'm going to say that really clearly, and I'm going to say that slower. Created reality. Because a created reality means that your whole experience of life is your experience, and you're creating your reality by what you react to and how you respond and the words you choose that decide where your feet are going to go. So if I wake up every day and say, life is really hard and things are always coming at me, and I feel like I'm never digging myself out of this hole. As a child of God, am I speaking in the words of creation, or am I speaking in the words of fear and destruction? Because the moment I say and proclaim that I can't get out of a hole and it's only going to get worse, I'm not only speaking in this moment, I'm also speaking for the moments to come. And then spirit has to make sure it follows suit. Why? Because we have an ego, and the ego's whole role is to take whatever you put your attention on, your intention into, your words that come out of your mouth are from your mind. Your ego takes it, and its sole purpose is to make you believe in the reality that you speak, you see, and you proclaim. Why? Well, because if you came to a planet and your idea of what you see and what you feel and what you're experiencing does not show up true to you, you won't stay in the human body. There's no reason for you to. There's got to be an anchor. And so the ego is your anchor. The ego is just basically taking your narrative and making it real for you. So if a woman comes to me and says, Shaman Durek, there's no good men in the world, the ego will hear that and then make sure it's sending impulses through your mind and through your body to choose men who are no good so you can be right. And if you say life is so hard, the ego will make sure it sets up the people, the places, and the circumstances to make you right. Think of the ego as the person who's sitting in court taking all the notes while the court trial is taking place. They don't miss a beat. The difference is that person who's taking all those notes is actually putting them into reality by setting up certain impulses and frequencies through your synapses and through the way your synapses fires off those electrodes, so that you can get certain signals and feelings and chemical releases to make decisions and choose people or places and all of that to come together so that you can be right as the creator. So when I say created reality, I mean just that. Your ego is creating your reality as you are accepting and seeing it and believing in it. And therefore, it is giving you a reference of it either physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. That's why I always tell people, if you want to find wrong in people, you will find it. If you want to find good in people, you will find it. If you want to buy a car off the lot and the person who sold you the car says this is the most perfect car that you just bought, and you told them, no, there's something wrong with this car, you will find it. Because the whole understanding of seek and find is an action of the ego and your consciousness and your will. Your will, your consciousness, and your ego are cooperatively assisting you to be right, so you accept your reality. So in order for us to be able to evolve, we have to remove the comforts and securities that we think are making us safe and get more into understanding that we're always safe no matter what shows up and no matter what happens. And that gives us an ability to thrive. So happy that I got to share that with all of you. I love you so much. There's going to be so much more I'm going to be sharing with you. And we're also going to play you an amazing clip from a replay of a live that I did on Instagram. If you want, like what I'm saying to you, and you want to learn more, you want to get more into being a part of this movement of you being the leader and you being the guru, you being the shaman, you being the healer, you being the person, and get out of this codependency, please come follow me at Shaman Durek on Instagram. You can also go to ShamanDurek.com, check out my podcast, Ancient Wisdom Today, and also get on board on the Shaman School if you want to upgrade your abilities. I love you so much. I know how powerful you are, and I know that you were born for victory. Bye. So first of all, I just want to let you know it's amazing. Your music's beautiful, and I didn't get a chance to say that when I got off last time. And it was more on my end. It was actually fine on your end, so I made a mistake.
No worries.
My nieces are like, we hear it fine. Something's wrong with your phone.
Well, we sorted through it then. That's no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over. So did you miss that last song?
No, I heard it. I just wanted everyone in the tribe to hear it. But it was nice.
Thank you. Oh, dang. I got to play this song. So this is a song that we jammed out together. That was so amazing. You were just riffing, freestyle riffing on the WhatsApp audio, just like dropping these lyrics on me, and then I had to make it into a song.
Aw, beautiful.
And I sent it to you, and you put it on the podcast, so thank you.
Of course.
It goes by Lit Horse now. I'm calling it
nice.
Lit Horse. I'm drinking the lit juice, I'm riding the lit train. Oh yeah, gonna ride the lit horse over to you and love you. Oh yeah, I'm drinking the lit juice, I'm riding the lit train.
Choo choo.
Oh yeah, gonna ride the red horse over to you and love you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Super
Attraction mode.
I am super attraction mode. We
Yo.
are super attraction mode. I am super attraction mode. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
drinking the lit juice. I'm
And riding the lit train.
Oh yeah, gonna ride the lit horse over to you and love you. Oh yeah, I'm drinking the lit juice. I'm riding the lit train. Choo choo. Oh yeah, gonna ride the lit horse over to you. And love you, oh yeah, I love you.
Ow! I love that song.
Thank you.
I love that. I mean, I do remember that. Yeah, I was riffing and you took it and you're like, oh, look, I took your thing that you said and made it into a song. What was the other one? The other song? Do you know that one as well?
I do, yeah. True love and light, it shines in the night, lit beam, clean, and true love and light, it shines in the night, lit beam, clean. So get your shine on, lit beam. Get your shine on, clean. Get your shine on, lit beam. Get your shine on, clean. It's true love and light. It shines in the night, lit beam. Clean. True love and light, it shines in the night, lit beam. Clean. So get your shine on, lit beam. Get your shine on, clean. Get your shine on, lit beam. Get your shine on, clean. Get your shine on, shine on. Get your shine on, It's true love and light. It shines in the night, lit beam. Clean.
Oh, I love it.
Sweet.
I totally forget sometimes that I'm like riffing with you and I love how I can riff with you and you turn them into songs. It's so wonderful.
Well, I think like I'd say, well, your primary discipline is shamanism, but you are also a prolific artist. And as a prolific artist, you're throwing down stuff that you're just going about your day, tossing out little gems, and you can't collect all of them, right? So it's nice to have a team where we can just like that, all those rich gems of musical good times.
Oh, you know, that really touches my heart that you take it. It really touches my heart that you take those things, you know, and made something beautiful and shared it with the tribe. You know, it's so wonderful. You're such a gift, Mark. I love you so much.
Thank you. That's like, I hear, listening to Ancient Wisdom today, as a musician, I can hear the musicality in your voice. And when you're doing those shares, it's so multidimensional because yes, there's the wisdom and the knowledge that you're sharing, but I hear this musical component where your voice is so developed and has such a nice spectrum within it that that's how you connect with people with that. It's layered. It's a layered delivery, let's call it. The layered delivery system of Shaman Durek. Gotta keep that voice sexy, and that's huge. Someone's loving this sexy talk right now. We're getting lots of hearts. Oh, okay. Well, the thing that stuck out to me, in one of your shares, I forget which one, but you were saying that true love and light shines in the night. You know, like this smiley face, it's glow in the dark, and when the lights go out, it's still shining, it's still smiling, right?
I love that.
And so, like a lot of the other music that I've created is much more, I don't know, complex and like layered and metaphors and weird. But the thing I love about that is that it's the simple but profound message within it. And yeah, that's I'm getting into that.
I loved our talk last night. You really touched my heart so deeply in our conversation last night, and I love listening to you. I love, I just love being in just with you.
Thank you. Yeah, and you have been since the moment I was introduced to you, and even the fact that I recognized your voice as soon as my friend put it on. It was just like, okay, you know, the remembering for me and the way that my life and I've been empowered through what you've shared is, I feel like that it was you began the remembering, so to speak, and it's been a fun journey. And it's amazing that we're here right now together. And, I got one more song.
Okay. Yes, of course.
It's really lighthearted, and it's a love song. And I feel like it's a good time to play a love song. Real simple love song. Okay, so this song is dedicated to every person out there right now, and they're separated from a loved one, and they so badly want to be by their side, but for some reason at this time, that's just not what's here and what is, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't be united in separation, because we are limitless. No matter where situations. We can't avoid these complications of the heart. And I suppose I like it when you're close. Come on, we're so close. Don't want you having no illusions. I'll tell you why I've got these bruises on my heart. I gaze upon those eyes, I just can't lie. Come on, let's see why. 'Cause you're my coffee. You're my daydream. And my dreams are so much better next to my world under the covers. Don't you love these situations? Can we take a vacation from our hearts? We won't tie toes, leave on our clothes. Come on, we're so close. Please excuse my excuses. I need to take care of some loose ends. It's a start. If I kiss those lips, I would likely slip. Come on, go for it, 'cause you're my coffee, and there is just enough sugar in you. You're my daydream, and my dreams are so much better next to my world under the covers.
Bravo. You handsome devil, you. Actually, change that. You handsome angel, you.
Yes. Thank you for the upgrade and your quick response. I appreciate that. You're keeping on top of it over there.
I have a lot of things cooking in the oven to support humanity. I knew this time was coming. That's, as you know, you read it in the book Spirit Hacking.
Yeah.
And I've been well prepared for all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's, I'm grateful to hear that from you. Because that's like, that's the type of leadership that lifts everyone up. I like that.
Yeah, just really creating that space and helping people to be able to create that for themselves as well. So that we, you know, because the longevity of this could be up to a year, and we need to prepare ourselves and realizing that to find ways to really get comfortable and understanding that this is not just some like fluke. This is something that's happening right now to really shake up the planet. And this is just the first phase of what I talk about in the blackout. This is the first phase of the blackout. There's 12 phases. And if we make the right conscious decisions right now, like we were talking about last night on the phone, you know, we can shift ourselves from having to go into the second and third phase, which we don't want to go into. And so this is really a choice point for humanity to decide if we're going to sink or swim.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's very, very important that people really, yeah, it's written in the Bible. Absolutely, it is. And this is really about us The first part of the blackout is the plague. It's the illness, it's the sickness, and we need to really just recognize that God is saying, hey, you know what? I gave you water, I gave you sunlight, I gave you nature, I gave you animals, I gave you life, I gave you your own free will, and I gave you love. And what have you guys turned it into? What did you use your free will towards, you know? Mm-hmm. So, you know, when this isn't, and I'm not sitting here saying that we're being punished. This is not a punishment. No. Because in spirit, with God, there's never punishment. It's always refinement, right? It's never a punishment. It's always refinement. And this is what is necessary for global refinement. We need to be refined. You know, it's not to be punished. It's not to send us to hell and damnation, because that's all human creation, because God doesn't even operate in human consciousness. It's the understanding of we need to align ourselves with love. And that's love for ourselves, love for each other, love for the planet. Because, you know, it's like there's an old shamanic saying that goes, you can't love God if you can't love what God created. And it's an old saying. And, you know, and what's interesting about that in that saying is the understanding, Mark, of the idea, like, how can someone cut down trees or hate a person because of what they choose and of their who they are, the color of their skin, or whatever it is, and then go to bed at night and think they love God and think they love the source or creation or Jesus or whatever. You know, it's like, whoever it is you believe God to be, you can't say to God, I love you, and then degrade your own brother and sister with gossip and, you know, like I could never say to another human being,
even to degrade ourselves, like you.
Yeah,
right?
to degrade another person by saying something like you're stupid or you're dumb or, you know, like you're ugly or you're fat or you're this or you're that, or to do that to ourselves, right? It's the same thing. It's like you can't say, oh, because I know people who are just like, oh, I love God. I'm like, no, you really don't, because you kill what God's created, you destroy the planet, you throw trash on the floor, and you tell yourself horrible things, and you think that shows God love? You could be the most righteous person, go to church, bow to Mecca, do whatever it is that you feel that God wants you to do because you're really good at following the rules. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean you love God. Following rules does not mean you love God. Following rules just means you're good at following rules. Loving creation means you love what creation created. Like if you love an artist, you love what the artist creates. And so this is kind of where we're at right now. It's just this choice moment of, you know, we've been given so much power. And are we going to become the Christ on planet Earth? Are we going to become the Muhammad? Are we going to become the Buddha? Are we going to become, you know, the Mahatma? Are we going to become these things that we keep putting up in front of us saying like, help us, help us? And they're like, look, we already did what we had to do. We gave you the knowledge and the wisdom and the ability to choose love over fear. Now it's your choice to step into that.
Yeah, it's there's been so many conditions that have pressured people away from that natural love and natural expression.
Yeah, but it's a choice.
And when I've left the house I've been in isolation since March 9th, March 10th. And when I go out and get supplies, I can see deep into people's soul and spirit. And when I look them in the eye, it's such a, the veil has been lifted. The facade is gone. And it's right there on people's faces. I see it. And there's something that when you were sharing that with me, something that was coming up was like when a child goes to their room and takes a time out and thinks about what they've done, you know? Like I've been feeling like I'm on a little timeout. Okay. And I can tell you what has shifted in me already is my relationship to productivity has been completely reformed.
Yeah.
And reborn. And I'm only, I'm not even 3 weeks into isolating myself. So, as an artist, I like to look at the pattern and what am I able to learn from this?
Yeah, exactly.
What does this represent on an energetic level, and try to take in as many perspectives as I can.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And it's gonna bring up so much for people. So much is gonna come up.
Yeah. I asked this minister once. I said, you talk about the Bible, you talk about Jesus, and you talk about this amazing man, and I'm intrigued of the story of Jesus with this great capacity for love, greater than darkness and fear, where no judgment and full acceptance, even of those who are wishing to do harm. And I said, I don't understand. Do you believe everything in the Bible? And he says, yes. And I said, well, then why do you judge certain people and then not judge, and then you are acceptance of the ones who come into your flock? If you are here to teach about Jesus, don't you think you should attempt becoming like Jesus? Like Jesus says, you will do greater things than I. I mean, that's in the scripture. Do you not believe in those the Holy Communion? Do you not believe in that? Because when I watch you make comments about other people, you're not speaking from a place of reverence and love. But then when I hear you speak in church, when I come to hear you, because I love I love Christian rock, it's like one of my favorite things, and I come to listen to everyone play and sing, and I get into the songs and everything, and then I hear you speak, and it's so beautiful, it's so this. But then when I spend time with you outside, I'm like, what is going on? And so for me, it's how can you judge anyone if you are here to teach the teachings of Jesus Christ? You should be in a state of unconditional love and walk the path of love no matter what, for love's sake. And so that's my whole message for the world, is to love for love's sake, not because it makes you a good person, not because it gets you, brownie points on the I'm such a good person, I deserve to get rewarded, right? But it's just to love for love's sake, just for the sake of loving, just for love's sake, And I think that's what I get when I listen to you play music and when we talk and all of that.
So what message do you have for people that are part-time in concert with their light body and part-time just what message do you have for people that have 1 foot in and 1 foot out?
What I would say is you have to decide which one is going to bring the most highest level of love for you, right? And the highest level of love is where you should place both of your feet, right? It's not in the idea. It's not saying that you can't have material things. Yes, but don't let those material things cloud the kindness and generosity and the givingness of your nature. Don't allow material things to be the focus of your viewpoint while being on the planet. Let people and love and family and your grandparents and elderly people and plants and nature and animals, the pigs, the cows, the horses, the chickens, the birds that sit in the tree, look at them. These are all creations of majesty, of just beautiful majesty and art. They're just pure art, and when we spend more time focusing on those beautiful things of creation, we attune our eyes to see more of when people say, there's an old scripture that says, we have to bring heaven to earth, but heaven can never come to earth unless we anchor it to earth, right? And how do we anchor it? We anchor it by choice. We anchor it by what we choose to put our attention on and our intention. We anchor it by the way we speak. We anchor it by the way we care for each other, how we care for the planet, and really honoring the sacredness, you know, of everything, and realizing that all the people that are doing things that are out of character will shift when there's a lot more people on the planet loving and accepting and coming through this with this bounty of love that has no price tag and has no measure of like you have to do something in order to get it. Like I see a lot of times people will say, well, I'll love you when I can trust you. Well, if you can't trust them from a place of just loving them because they're created, then you obviously don't trust yourself in the same. You know, because as we are, we create, and as we be, we experience. And so when we step into a greater understanding of the proclamation of love, we realize that love is not held in the foundation of human consciousness, but it is held in the foundation of spiritual evolution. It is the platform in which you should build all things from. Right. And so when we build upon fear, when we build upon these types of things, like my father was a general contractor, and he built a lot of big commercial spaces. And I used to go and watch him as a kid. I never really wanted to participate because I wasn't really about getting my hands dirty, like, you know, doing those things.
Yeah.
But I used to find it fascinating how he would build a space. And what I found fascinating in the way he would build was how he would lay the foundation. If the foundation was, and he put so much time on the foundation, more so than he put on the building of the structure. And I used to say to my dad, why do you care so much about the foundation and so forth? He goes, because foundation is everything, son. If you build something on a faulty foundation, I don't care what you build and how glorious it may look and how beautiful it may seem, that foundation is going to fall. And so I said to myself, oh, this is so interesting. So I started to think a lot about that as a kid. And when I was about, I would say 12 years old, I said to him, I said, isn't that the same? If you're the building aspect is the same building in relationships, building and how we connect with others, building how we deal with the earth, building in everything. So if people are building on fear or distrust or building upon uncertainty or doubt, then you'll find that the cracks and the crevices will build up to a point where eventually the fall will happen, right? And so I started to see that, and I said to him, it would be most advisable if people start to build on a solid foundation. And the only solid foundation that I can see, based out of all the verbs and the vocabulary of human intellect and lexicon, is the foundation of love. To build on the foundation of love. And that foundation of love is so solid, not the love that humans have created and the ideas of, you know, trading each other off like contracts and agreements. Not that kind of love. I'm not speaking because that's not love. That's more of ownership and control. I'm talking about the deeper, profound understanding of love in its most simplistic form. That love that is open and says that it has no rules, it has no limitations, it has no boundaries. It's just pure love. You know, it's the kind of feeling I get like when I come connect to people. Sometimes people get uncomfortable by me because I'm a very touchy-feely person. I want to hug you. I want to rub your hand. If I'm talking to you, I like to put my hand, on your arm, on your shoulder, and acknowledge a touch, you know, while we're talking. I like to be very much on that love scale of connection and affection because I grew up not having any affection. So I made a decision that I was going to be a very affectionate person when my family was not so affectionate. So,
right.
You know,
yeah,
building on love,
building on
a strong
love.
foundation.
So, so the people in our lives that connect to spirit and they're they've been living in that. They've been living in that paradigm of connecting to spirit an hour and a half every week when they go to church, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How do we bridge them to, like you were saying, where you are in recognition of sacred representations of God every moment, all the time?
So, you know,
bridge that?
it's interesting you said that, because my girlfriend and I were sitting back one day, and we were outside in nature, and we're talking, and I said, you know, it's really interesting. I said, because I have a lot of love for the Bible. I have a lot of love for religion. What I don't have love for is when they put God into a human thinking process, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have so much love for the teachings of Christ, the love, the generosity, the healing, you know, all of these beautiful things in the Quran and Buddhism, all these beautiful things that are shared in messages for people spiritually in whatever way they choose to observe God.
Okay, waiting. Okay. Yeah. Hi. I don't know what happened there, but here we are.
Did you save the last one?
I did. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we'll just wait for everyone to come back. But, you know, basically what I was saying is that I feel that human beings have taken the understanding of God and put God in the same way that we would think as human beings, which would not make sense, because we need something to grow into. We need something to evolve into. If we were to put God in the same way we think, which is based in fear and this versus that, and, you know, if you do this, this is right and this is wrong, the context of evolution would diminish, because the understanding of evolution would have no need for continuation. And to explain that in a very simpler way, it would basically mean this. It would mean that evolution is the aspect of mutation. It's the understanding of moving from one level of knowledge and information and aptitude to move into another way of perceiving life, and therefore allowing ourselves to be able to see more, be more, and expand more. And as the universe is in this constant expansion, you know, and as there are different levels of that, we have to understand that if we put God, and this is why I've had this is kind of things, because when I'm with my girlfriend, we talk about how much we love the Bible, we love these different things, but then when it gets to the point where the idea of conversation has now moved God into a thinking process like a human being would think, in a place of lack and limitation, I can't perceive the evolution anymore. Now it's come down to rules and regulations. So what happens is, in order for religious people who are been indoctrinated with that, they would have to let down this idea of this idea that of right and wrong, because you see, right and wrong is very subjective to each person based upon their family upbringing. And what is your dream? And what is your dream? And what is your dream? And all of these dreams mean something. And this is important. And we must understand that. And we must understand that each and every person's dream is for them to dream a greater dream for humanity. Martin Luther King dreamed dreams a greater dream for humanity. Helen Keller dreamed a greater dream for humanity. So many people have dreamed a greater dream for humanity. Now it's everyone else's turn. Dream a greater dream for humanity, and you will shift the holographic field to that's projecting energy, creating matter, creating substance from solid form, and you will shift the narrative of energy, and therefore, literally, you will experience a whole different world. Everything will shift. The blackout will go away. Human beings have now moved into a new way of thinking and consciousness. And let me tell you, we shall celebrate nations and nations of people. We shall celebrate colors, sexuality. We will celebrate other people's observance of God. We will not be threatened or fearful by someone being different from us. We will be truly in what Martin Luther King says, in a symphony of brotherhood and sisterhood. Or should I say sisterhood and brotherhood, because I'm going to put the woman first because she's the one who creates life. Sisterhood and brotherhood, so that we can live as family on earth and bring heaven to earth. And at that point, other planets with other beings that are cloaked from our asses, because they don't want to be anywhere associating with us on a physical realm in our holographic form, the way it's set up. Because we know that we have issues with people with the color of their skin and the choice of their sexuality. What are you going to do when someone has 3 eyes and 5 arms? People need to get comfortable with their own species a little bit before they can actually be in having the opportunity to see other beings that are there, that have been sitting there watching us and seeing if we're going to change the holographic form and matter by dreaming a greater dream than what we see. And so this is what this is doing. It is aligning us. It is refining us. It is giving us the ability. Hello, Alexis, my love, I missed you. It is aligning and refining, and it is divining us to get out of the D's that we keep creating through projecting into the holographic form, consciousness that is not held in the frequency and the foundation of love, thus creating disease, desecration, degradation, destruction, all the D's, and the devil too. All the things that human beings like to point the fingers at, they are all responsible in creating if we don't dream a greater dream. So when Martin Luther King says, I have a dream, I want everyone to say, so do I. And now let's start bringing that dream to life, baby. Let's bring that dream to life. And the way you do it is you hold the dream. That's all you got to do. Martin Luther King said that it was the dream that he had by holding on to it. Even when family members and other people were like, brother man, brother man, brother man, brother man. I've got to tell you something now. Now, I know you've been talking to people about one day we're going to be able to sit down with other white folks and sit down in the restaurants with them. We ain't even going to be in church with them, praying with them. But brother man, you know good and well that ain't no white folk people going to let us sit down at the same table. You understand me? Now, I think you've been going to, I hear where you come at, you. I want to get the understanding of what you're doing now, brother man. But we got to keep what keeping is keeping so that we can stay, we can be safe. No white man's going to let us go to the bathroom with him. There are people saying this to him. His own color was saying this to him. But he did not budge from that dream. And that's why the system wants to distract us, because it knows that the moment you start holding to that dream of your dream and you're not distracted by what's playing on television, who's winning this, who's doing that, what your neighbors do, what this person thinks about you, boo-boo and boo-boo and hoo-hoo and hee-ha, and what Jan is doing, what Sue is doing, what Bob and da-da-da is doing, and what they think about you, and what's going on in the government, what's going on in the this and that. You do not waver from your dream, and your dream will come to manifestation. This is the promise. We as human beings have been stepping away from the dream. We have been faltering from the dream. We have even got confused about the dream. We have come so dissonant from the dream that we have a dream, 5 people walk in the room and tell us our dream's not happening, and we're like, okay, yeah, maybe I got it. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe that was me. I don't know. Maybe I can't do that. Maybe that's not going to happen. That's the problem with today. That's the reason why human beings are not being able to see the changes that they want to see. Yeah. Because they let someone come in and change their dream because they're so busy wanting to be liked and loved, hearts and hearts on Instagram, on my Facebook, on my TikTok, on my this, on my that. Baby, if 20,000 people came in the room and you had a dream, Mark, and 20,000 people came in the room and told you you're crazy, Spirit is waiting to see what you're going to do. Will he hold his ground in his dream and let it manifest? Or will he let those people pull him away from his dream? Mm. This is why we are going through what we are going through on the planet.
Yes. And so,
dream bigger, dream greater, and dream for all of us.
Okay, so this like obsession with murder mystery and horror movies and these narratives that are built off of tragedy and trauma and chaos. What is the source of the collective, that obsession with content like that? Like,
the source of the collective consciousness that falls into alignment with a lot of these things is entertainment. And also it is programmed by the Matrix to numb us so they can get away with it when they want to. Literally, you can see a person get shot in front of you, and now people have no movement now. They're not like, oh my God. They're just like, oh shit, look at that. Let me get my camera out, yo. Yo, look at the guy's getting shot right there, yo. The guy's getting shot. Look at him. Look at them shooting him. Because it's numbing you so that way, it's like the whole human trafficking thing. Like that's been going on for such a long time. You can't even begin to get into it. But the interesting thing is they're now putting it out. Okay, if you see human trafficking, call this number, because they want people to get comfortable. You see, they want people to get comfortable. So they put these things in movies. They put these things in television. So you can, Drew Barrymore eating people. I don't care. I don't want to see Drew Barrymore. I don't want to see Drew eating people. I'm sorry. I don't care, whatever the California or whatever that show is called.
I'm collapsing that timeline. Collapsing.
Done. I don't want to see Drew Barrymore eating people. I want to see Drew Barrymore going, E.T., phone home. That's how I want to see you, girl. That's it.
Yes. I totally agree.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see you eating dead bodies. I'm not into it.
No.
Don't put Drew in a TV show where she's eating dead bodies. Keep her with the E.T. I want to see cute little ponytails and just be like, can he stay? That's what I want to see. Okay? But the system, to answer your question, the system needs a glitch in our thinking because, I had a recent situation where someone asked me to perhaps work on some films that have to do with horror. And I said very clearly, unless it has an ending that shows people how to deal with the darkness, beat the darkness, and know the real tools in life, I don't have any part of it. Because the consciousness of humanity will get it put into your brain, right? I talk about it in the book, Brain Sting. Then you become numb. You become less affected to the disgusting, vile, horrifying things that humanity does to each other. So that's what the government wants. It wants you to look at war as a normal thing. Oh, this person's eating people now. That's normal. You saw it on TV like 20 years ago. Not a big deal, really. Remember Drew ate that person? You loved it. High ratings on the show. It was amazing. Yeah. They want you to be so normalized by the situations that they occur that you think war on planet Earth is normal. War is not normal. Do you not know post-traumatic stress disorder does not just exist in your mental and in your body? It exists in your spirit too. Every time your spirit is exposed to these horrific things, this is what Caesar used to do. Caesar was like, all we have to do Give them circuses and bread. Put the arena there. Let them see the arms getting chopped off, the blood gushing out. The crowd will roar for the gladiators. And then it will desensitize them. So when we send the soldiers and cut off the heads of people in other countries and whatever, they'll just be like, yeah, yeah. Right. You know? No. Yeah. No. No.
Yo, I'm all about using, as a musician and an artist, using my expression to energetically imprint on as many people as I can, but I'm not going to use that from a perspective of manipulation or some kind of agenda. If it's not amplifying love into this world, then what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? A friend of mine said, I have a business partner. We're not doing well together. It's time to go. It's time to go. Because you're not amplifying love. You're not going to amplify a good project. You ain't going to amplify a good message. So you might as well just stop now. There's no point for you to continue bombarding yourself and putting yourself in degrees of aggression and suffering and pain just to make other people happy anymore. You need to know your dream. You need to hold true to your dream. And you need to know, even if your parents say you're crazy, you can be like, Mom and Dad, be like, crazy is the new norm, okay? Crazy is the new norm. In this world, if you don't acknowledge crazy as the new norm, you got to get a little crazy. I think what's his name song? What's that guy's name? Seal. He came out with that song too early. Okay? Because that's the song now. You got to get a little crazy to survive unless you get a little crazy. I mean, those words are true as true can be. Okay? Because if you do not get crazy, you are not going to survive.
No.
You're not going to survive. You got to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
You're never going to survive unless you get a little crazy. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, so good. So good. I love that.
If your family's not calling you the black sheep, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Prince says, let's go crazy. That's right. If your family doesn't call you the black sheep, you better go back and get them to label you that black sheep. Are you doing something? You're not doing something right. Something's off.
Yeah. You better go into the stable and take a moment, reflect.
Maybe get a can. Yeah. Maybe get a black can of paint. Paint yourself black.
Yeah.
Walk in the house and be like, I am the black sheep. I will not listen to anything you say. I have my own wisdom, my own knowledge. I have my own autonomy. You understand? Thank you. And if you can't understand, I'm going to have to call you by your first name because you're taking this mom and dad thing way too far. One time my dad kept going like, I'm your father. So you hear me, boy? I'm your father. I said, okay, that's enough. You're playing that father card way too long. Hey, David, how's it going today? You feeling good? He goes, what did you say? I said, David, that's your name, right? No, you call me your dad. You call me your father. But maybe you taken that too far. You taken that way too far. Now you want me to call you father, so you have some kind of power over me. Now I call you David. We're equal. Hey, David, how's it going? Hi, Varushka. That's my mom's name. Hi, Varushka. How you doing, Varushka? No, because they take it too far. Yeah. This is not a hierarchy here. Every human being has wisdom and has knowledge and has information to be shared to this world. No one should have power over you. No one should come in and take away your dreams. Okay? It's too much.
No. And there's times when I'm navigating life and my son, Jacob, he's 10. He will drop some hard truth on me. He checks me. He's 10 years old and he checks me. So, and I have total respect for him and that his position. Oh yeah,
children are your greatest teachers.
Absolutely. He is an ascended master, and me as a guardian, it's up to me to preserve that and let him shine and continue to be a master. He's already a master in himself. Exactly.
Right? Sometimes I go to kids and start asking them questions like, so you see the state of things going on. What's your wisdom and counsel about the matter? They're like, have fun, enjoy your life, and create from your heart. I'm like, thank you. I really like that. They know what's up.
Yeah.
But this parental hierarchy, like I told this one woman in Turkey, her daughter was trying to say something to her, and she's like, and the father was getting mad, and he was trying to shut down the daughter. And I said, why are you guys shutting down your daughter? She's a part of the family structure. She should have a voice and be able to talk about her wisdom and her knowledge to both of you. You're not perfect. You might learn something. He's like, she's just a little girl. She knows nothing. Shaman, what is this? What do you say to me? I said, first of all, let me explain something to you. Okay? She may be a little girl, but she knows a lot. You forget that she was just on the other side. She might have information for you that can help this whole family come out of the situations you're going through. He goes, but she's just a little girl. Finally, he understood. And the daughter has so much to say. I had one couple, they were going to angel workshops and doing all these different things or whatever. I said, do you ever listen to your daughter? They're like, what does she know? She's a little girl. I said, can you tell your parents who you talk to every single day? She looked at them and goes, I speak to angels directly every single day. I could have taught you how to speak to angels a long time ago. They were like,
yes. Yeah. Oh, no, I love that. That's totally true to me. Jacob he'll sit in on writing sessions when I'm collaborating. And I've got this one song called Do You Want to Dance? And it was in the second verse, and we were just like, me and my writing partner were kind of like throwing lines against the wall. And because the verse goes, feel the groove, side to side, you know just what to do. Move your body like you do when you're alone in your bedroom. Now shake, shake, shake it up. Shake your body tonight. Baby, let that feeling out. Just, we're like, live and love and light, have a party tonight. And then I hear him mumble something across the room. And I stopped my writing partner. I'm like, wait. I'm like, what? What was that? And he kind of said it a little louder. I'm like, no, speak up. What do you got for us? Bring it forward. And he's like, revel in that delight. And I'm like,
oh, sick.
It's a dance track. Do you want to dance?
I love it. Yeah. Amazing.
Baby, let that feeling out. Just revel in that delight. Right?
Baby, let that feeling out and revel in that delight. I love it.
Do you want to dance? Do you want to dance with me, my love? Do you want to move your body right? Do you want to dance with me tonight? Do you want to dance? Yeah.
So good.
And he was, 10 years old, just patiently sitting on the couch, minding his own, but always listening. That's another thing. He is always listening.
Oh, kids always listen. And they listen not only with their ears, they listen with their feelings too.
Yes. Because he can sense which codes I'm using in my voice when I'm speaking, when I'm delivering a message. And the intonation, he senses, he's in tune with all that.
Kids hear and they hear. And I love that. Like they can hear your emotions of what you're feeling. So then when you are pretending to be all happy and everything and they feel you sad and upset inside, then they go, why isn't mom and dad being honest? And then they don't say it to you. They say it to me when I have sessions with kids. And then like one kid came in, their parents like, he's so angry. He's always angry. He's always saying like horrible things. He's always like just being angry. So I asked the kid, I'm like, what is it that you're feeling that's making you angry? And he was quiet at first. And I go, are you feeling your parents? Do you feel like your parents are being honest with their feelings? And he was like, and I was like, okay. I go, you can talk to me. I said, so what is it that is making you angry? And he's like, are you getting mad at me if I tell you the truth? And I'm like, no, of course you can tell me. Should we play video games? Do you want to talk about should we make a picture together and talk about it? And he's like, I don't know. So what I did was I drew these lips, I drew these eyes, and I drew these noses and these ears. And I drew them on a piece of paper with him. He's like, what are you doing? And I go, I'm doing some art. And he goes, can I join you? I said, yes. So I said, you want to help me with the lips? And so he's drawing the lips on the paper. I said, okay, we're going to play a game. It's called, when we hold up the lips, you can say whatever you want to say. When you hold up the ears, you can tell me what you hear. When you hold up the eyes, tell me what you see.
Yeah.
You hold up the nose, tell me what you smell. And so I started first, and I was like, I love ice cream. And then he goes, and then he put the lips on, and he's all, I love cats. And I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, I hear train coming. And then he put the ears up, and he goes, oh, I hear the sound of the ocean. And I go, okay. And then he put the eyes. I go, oh, my God, I see a rainbow. And then he took the eyes, and he goes, I see a rainbow. And then he put, and he goes, oh, he put the lips to his mouth. He goes, oh, my daddy's so angry. And then I put the ears up and goes, oh, I can hear you, you know? And like we kept going, and he finally got down to telling me that he was angry because his father was angry, but his dad was masking it. So he was playing out his dad's anger to understand why his dad was angry.
Yeah.
They're powerful.
Oh, yeah. It's so powerful. It really takes me back, like when I was a younger single dad, and Jacob was 2.5, and he knew when I was struggling. It was just the two of us, you know, in our apartment, and I wouldn't even be saying anything. I would just be in the kitchen making dinner for us, and he would get sad and say, "Don't say that, don't say that," and I wasn't even saying that. He was saying any words. What are you talking about? Really comforting, but I knew Dad would say that in a way he needed me around to chill.
Oh my God, I got the glitter. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But he checked me. He checked in the fact that he vocalized that to me. It's like he retrieved me from a spiral. Like I was spiraling, and I was having like a panic attack, being like, I got this toddler and it's me, and who's going to do all this? Who's going to do this? And me. But also it made me realize that it wasn't all on me as well. Even as a 2.5-year-old, he had the courage to pull me back and to keep me, keep us together.
Yeah, sometimes children are brought into your life to actually help you grow spiritually and become and really learn from them. They're on the other side, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to choose these parents, this geographical location. I'm going to choose to be female, or I'm going to choose to be male, and I'm going to go in. I've looked at all my father's stuff. I looked at all my mother's stuff, and I'm going to go in and be their child, and I'm going to show them.
Oh yeah, constantly.
I was thinking of doing a book called The Hidden Masters.
I love that. Whoa. And it's so cool because a lot of the content and narrative and positioning of the book is through your collaboration and the healing that you have done with children and youth.
Yep.
And obviously folding in your own experiences into that.
Absolutely.
Like that exercise of drawing the mouth and ears, and that is so creative and brilliant.
No, thank you. I had to think of something creative on the spot because he was not wanting to be taught. Sometimes parents will bring their kids into sessions with me and they don't want to talk. So I'm like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to go play video games. You want to join me? They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then they start playing video games with me, and then I bust, and then we get into a conversation, or I'll make a picture and be like, oh my God, this picture is my tree. It describes how I am right now. And they're like, oh, can I make one too? And I'm like, yeah. And then I go, oh my God, this is so amazing. Look at what it says about me. I drew a sun over a flower, which means I'm open to new possibilities. And he's like, and then they go, can you tell me what my picture means? And then I tell them, and then it opens up our conversation. There's all kinds of ways to engage children.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Who wants some? Let's see. Yo. Cheers. Whee! Got my isolation partner in the background. That's my bro. Can you hear that guitar all right? Sound check. Yeah? Maybe? Okay. All right. Thanks for checking in. I'm gonna play 5 songs for you right here. This first one is called Made for Me. So much has changed, so much has went away. It is best that it never comes back again. I ran it right out of town. Much of the same, which only brought pain. We got to know our common enemy. Don't let ourselves in the way. 'Cause our hearts are simple. Turned on the lights and things looked ugly. It was time to clean house, and everything was seen as helping or hindering. My little boys needed someone functioning, so I cared for myself. And it was so simple. Yo, what's up? Thanks for checking in. My name's Mark Mills. That song was called Made for Me. Shout out to my friend Trish for gifting me this Hockey Dad mug. It means a lot to me right now. Okay, this next track is called Victory. Traveling through your eyes. Traveling through your eyes. Traveling through your eyes. Traveling through your eyes. Yo, what's up? Cheers. Looks like we've got a tight brew here. I'm having a little beverage right now. So this is some probiotic brine. It's called Beet Kvass. It's the leftover brine from fermented beets. There's more bacteria in this culture, in this 4 ounces, than there are people on the planet. Trip. What a trip. Okay, this one, this is a newer song. It's called Nowhere. We're now here. Nowhere. Now here. Sweet. Some things we're meant to get through. I don't try to get over you. And this time I'll let it all sink in. The lessons that I've been avoiding. Nowhere but here. I'm so tired of running. Nowhere but here. And I just don't want to go. Nowhere but here. And aren't you tired of running? Nowhere but here. And I don't want to go. No. Revisions to the script I learned. A candle in which the wick has burned. An ancient curses break with me. The spirit that we can all set free. Nowhere but here. And I'm so tired of running. Nowhere but here. And I just don't want to go. Nowhere but here. And aren't you tired of running? Nowhere but here. And I don't want to go. No. Some things we're meant to get through. I don't try to get over you. I don't try. And some things we're meant to get through. Hi. Whoa. We're partying over here. This mushroom tincture has been just blessing me. Okay. Fun little fact. How is everyone? Hi. How's it going?